My name is Darrell. I worked with Chuck Jones for a while before he passed away. I have a background in traditional illustration and animation. Um, I like to specialize in character design. So if you have any questions about character design, feel free to ask. Today, we're going to be working on shape. Last week, we worked on line, which is one of your basic elements. There are 7. We'll get into that in a little bit, but we'll give it a few minutes for everyone to join in. If you want, you guys could tell me, if you feel like it, to tell me about some of your art background.
Oh, Nathaniel is raising his hand.
Okay. Hey, Nathaniel.
Drawing background.
What kind of, what's your art background? What do you like to draw?
I like to draw my character, who is a kangaroo. His name is Bingo. Like to show a picture right there. So, just need to find it.
No problem.
This is one.
Very cool. And what's his name? Bingo?
Yeah.
Nice. How long have you been drawing him?
2 years. I think I created him when I was about 8, I think.
Okay. So what made you create Bingo?
I guess I just sketched him one day.
And you liked him and you kept him around?
Yeah. I had a
Good,
similar
good.
character.
Anybody else? What was that?
I had a similar character also named Bingo, but I changed that to the other Bingo.
Okay, very cool. And that's how we develop characters. You know, they start and they evolve, they grow. Kind of like you, as you grow up, you change. So your character will also change too. Anybody else want to share? Hi, Evie, welcome aboard. You want to share anything about your background or some of your characters or drawings that you have?
Sure. So I
Okay.
like to make characters. I have like 20 characters. Let's see. Here is one of them. So yeah, I also like to animate and make memes. So,
What do you use to animate?
I use Flip-A-Clip.
Which one?
Flip-A-Clip. It's an app.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing. What was your character's name?
This is Custard.
Custard. How many characters do you have?
Probably like 20 something.
Nice. Do they all interact? Do they live in the same world? Do they exist with each other, or are they separate?
I guess they all kind of exist in the same world. But
See,
I haven't
that's
really
good.
figured
That's how it begins. You create a character and it grows. A friend of mine is directing and created, what's that Netflix cartoon with the fantastic animals, creatures? The cartoon? Kaibo? There's a new cartoon on Netflix and he's going into season 2 right now, and season 3's been coming up. And he started sketching these ideas like 5-6 years ago. And I think I seen someone else new to the group. Was it Laura? You want to share with some of your background or some of your sketches?
My name is Laura, and I've been drawing
Welcome.
since I was about 3 or 4. And recently this year, I've started to do a little bit of animating also on Flip-Clip. And I have multiple original characters. Yeah.
Very nice. Do you have anything you want to share with them? Do you have any sketches?
I can go grab one in a moment, but at the moment I don't have.
Okay, no worries. Looks like Tater's got something he wants to share. What do you got, Tater?
Hello, I'm Tater. I'm just that
Welcome.
kid that draws excessively, and I have way too many characters. Some that I'm planning on giving away because I've lost connection with them. But yeah, just a little doodle of cat that I nicknamed Tater. That's what I go by.
Nice. Nice. Do you have a
Thank
favorite
you.
character? Do you have a favorite one?
Oh, that's hard. It would either have to be Beetlecake, Tater, or Skaza right now. But
Okay.
I keep making more, so I don't really know yet. Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so it looks like we might have everybody here. So we're still working on the 7 elements of art, the basic elements. And last week we did line, which is one of your basic things you start with. This week we're going to talk about shape. And closing in last week, someone asked about a sphere and an hourglass. And they asked about that, and yes, those are definitely basic shapes we can start with. But just off the top of your head, what are some of the basic shapes that you see from the drawings around you, from just life? What are some of the basic shapes? Triangles, good one. Circle, absolutely. Square, these are very solid, very good. Anything else? Pentagon, yes, we could do a pentagon. Cube, yes, okay. So the difference between a cube, diamond, yes. The difference between a cube and a square, a rhombus, yes, we could do a rhombus. The difference between a cube and a square is that a cube is 3-dimensional. Now, when we talk about shapes, generally we go, if we have a square and then we turn it into a cube, well, a cube then becomes a 3-dimensional object, which we'll get into later, because one of the fifth, I believe the 5th lesson is called form. And after that, space and value. So if you take a cube and you turn it into a square, then you're starting to add form and volume to it, and it's starting to occupy space. Versus if you take a circle in a cartoon, it's kind of like flat in a 2-dimensional cartoon. But if you were to turn it and you were to make it 3D, and you took that flatness and you turned it sideways, then you would get form, space, and volume, because now you're not just flat, you're coming into 3D. So those are all very good shapes. Now, I was just looking at some of the basic shapes, and if you take a look at your characters, a lot of them have similar shapes. What did I used to draw? Well, one of the things I used to draw, which was when I was with Chuck, was Bugs Bunny. And I would teach people how to draw Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and those are all based on shapes. For example, if you take a look at Bugs Bunny, we start out with a circle. We start out with a circle, then we go into a triangle. You guys want to follow along with me? You guys want to do Bugs Bunny? If not, we could go back into the basic rules of the program. Okay.
Couple yeses.
You got yeses?
I saw a couple yeses.
Okay. Well, we'll do a quick tutorial on Bugs Bunny. Okay, so if you want, start out with a circle. You could do a very light circle, doesn't have to be a dark, heavy circle. I'll give you a few minutes. couple seconds. In the circle, when I was talking earlier in my classes, it doesn't have to be perfect. It could just be a circle. Be loose, be open, let it, doesn't have to be like it was drawn in Adobe Illustrator or some computer program. You know, we're people, we're organic, we're not robots. So just draw a circle, simple little circle. Then at the base of that circle, right here, draw a triangle, but you want a little arc at the top of that triangle. Everybody okay? Am I going at a good pace? Okay, so from here, we're going to draw a short little line coming straight down. We're going to come up over onto that side. And if you take a look, I'm just doing basic lines. And then on the other side, we're going to just do the same thing. I'm going to come down here, make a couple of rectangles. And then just above this triangle, we're going to make a little arc. That's going to be where his eyes are going to be starting. So now if you take a light line, and we're not going to use it right now, but we're going to make a light line coming up from the edge of his nose, up through the circle, and almost all the way to the top. These are going to be light. Don't make these too dark, because these are just going to be guidelines. Then from here, we're going to come up and do the same. Okay, so now from here, I'm going to come down on each side of Bugs Bunny's nose. And they're just little arcs. And then from here, I'm going to come out. And we're going to add his cheeks. Now, if you take a look at his cheeks, they're kind of like big puffy clouds. You want them to be big. You don't want to make them too small because it's Bugs Bunny. Now, if you're making your own rabbit, you can make them whatever size you want. But if you're trying to follow Bugs Bunny, you kind of want them to be big, kind of like a baby. You want it big and cute, like Bugs Bunny cheeks. Everybody with me, Scott? Are we following? Am I moving too fast?
Thumbs up. I see some thumbs up. I think you're good.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so from here, make a little chin. And then we're going to come down, and right here, we're going to make his neck. Okay, now you remember those two little light lines I had you come up with? We're going to use those soon, but from here, we're going to come to the sides. And we're going to do the sides of his head like a dome. If it's not exact, don't worry about it. See, mine's not exact. See this right here? I've got like 3 lines to make that side. Over here, I got 2. For his chin, I've got like 100. So there's no pressure. This is for fun. You want to enjoy your art. Part of it's work, but part of it is, remember that this is fun for you. Okay, now we're going to come back here with these light lines, and his eyes are going to come from right down here at this point. And we're going to make almost like an ellipse, but it's not going to be completely closed. It's just going to look like that. It's almost going to look like his ears. You guys doing all right? Okay, so now at the top, we're going to make ellipses inside his eyes. Now this can be a full ellipse. That can be closed. Then inside that, I know some of you know, you watch your cartoons, your anime, and some of your other drawings where they have a highlight in your eyes. Like Lily and Heather, like you got a little highlight in your glasses. There's that little white spot. So this is what we're going to be making on here. So we're going to make a little circle, and that's going to remain white. Don't want to fill that in. And after you've done that, then you could fill in around it in that outer ellipse. Okay, now continuing with that light line we drew, that's where his ears are going to sit. So kind of like what we did with his eyes, center it on this line, and we're just going to go like we did to make his eyes, just on the outside of it. And I know some of you are thinking, going, his ears are way too short. And you're absolutely right. So what I would do is I would either, if you really wanted to, I would move my page down. You could get another piece of paper, and you'd make his ears again. If you wanted to make the drawing, don't squeeze it in. Don't make his ears too small. If it goes off the page, it goes off the page. Because if I decide to stop there and I just made his ears this size, that would look really funny. And if I just left it like that. Bugs Bunny's ears are usually 1.5 times to 2 times bigger than his head. From here, we could put a little tuft of hair, finish off the top of his head. I like to color in his nose sometimes. And then inside his cheeks, he has a little wider area. And you don't have to color yours, but Bugs Bunny usually is like a light shade of gray. And depending, Chuck would say, depending on how much money the studio had to make the film, he would have either 1 or 2 whiskers. And if they had more money, they would draw 3. And there's your basic Bugs Bunny. But if you notice what I started out with, what did I start out with? What shape did I start out with, guys? Absolutely. A circle. And if you start out with a circle, you could, a lot of times your character's head, if you're drawing a character, we'll talk about character today then, you will start out with a circle. Or sometimes you might start out with an ellipse, like an egg. Or it depends, you could start out with a square too. Depends if you want your character to if you want to make a character like Frankenstein, You know, you can start out with a square. You can start out with a circle if you want to make your character into a pig. Or you can make your character into, let's say, a fish. So you can do anything you want with your drawings, but you don't have to start out with a circle. How many of you have seen the movie by Disney Pixar, Inside Outside? Any of you other guys see Inside Outside? Okay, good call, good call. Because I'm going to talk about some of their characters today. So let's take a look first at this movie front poster. Now, if you take a look at the characters, you can see they're all very different sizes and shapes. Just like it creates difference, makes all of us different. Some of us have black hair, some of us have blonde hair, some of us have red hair. Now, if you take a look at this character lineup, you can see very distinctively the different shapes. Take a moment and take a look at them. See if you can identify what shape they are. So first, let's take a look at Joy. Can you guess her shape? It's a good guess. Her head's a circle. But what about the shape of her character, her body, her overall shape? Yes, long, rounded. But when the characters designed her, triangle, close, Nathaniel, very close. When the characters designed her, they had this shape in mind. A star. And because she's Joy, she's generally taller, and a star is bright, like Joy. Joy is bright. So when you're developing your characters, that's one thing to think about, is like, what are they built like? What's their shape? And then there's sadness. See how much different she is than Joy? So you have a star. Yes, very much like an oval, an ellipse. But look at the shape of her face that's framed by her hair. Do you see what kind of shape that makes? Teardrop, nailed it. She is based on a teardrop or a similar ellipse as a teardrop. If you take a look at her head and you take a look at the way her face is framed, she's a teardrop, which makes up for like her character. And even her body, if you take a look at her overall body, even her body is kind of teardrop shaped. And she's got her feet. And then her everything with Joy is down. Everything with Joy is down and inside. Excuse me, with sadness, I apologize. Everything with sadness is down and closed in, as opposed to Joy, which is expressive and everything, her arms, she's happy. Now, one of my favorite characters is our next guy. He's just funny. I think he's just funny. Absolutely, there you go. Square, rectangle, block. Yes. You guys nailed it. So you could see the different shapes and different characters and different sizes makes a difference in what you want your character to represent. Like you could take a look at him and the choice of color. Color is going to be our next lesson next week. But the choice of color for red, anger, danger, warning, says it all. But he, just a big old square. He is just a big old square. Not a very happy one either. And next is going to be Disgust. Someone mentioned her shape earlier when we were talking about joy. What do you see? Diamond, pentagon, hourglass. She could be an hourglass, yes. But when the character designed her at Pixar, they were thinking of a triangle. If you take a look at a lot of her poses fill up a triangle, which is, you know, it's an alternative of a triangle. It's not exactly a perfect triangle, but it's what the designers wanted. And then last we have fear. What was that about her scarf, Tater? I like it too. Okay, so fear, can you guess his shape? A line. That's close, very close. What does it look, when you think of him and you look at him, what's the feeling you get? So when they designed fear, and fear is, what do you do when you're afraid? You question everything. You're not sure, you're uncertain, you're not solid, you're not, exclamation, very close to an exclamation point. So this is what they were thinking when they made fear. A question mark or squiggle. Because both of them, if you look at him, he's not sure about himself. So he's always questioning, like, well, is this safe? Will I get hurt? What do I do next? What do we do? It's like a squiggle, it's not solid. A squiggle is not solid like a square or a triangle. It doesn't have a solid form. So do we have any questions right now about shapes? Okay, so I'm going to say, someone pick a shape. Let's do a character.
What
Who
about
wants
a
to pick-
long, thin rectangle?
What was that?
A long, thin rectangle?
Okay. Did everybody get that? So a long, thin rectangle. Now this thin rectangle doesn't have to be this way. You can turn it and have it this way also, sideways. It doesn't have to be up and down. So you can make a character, you can make a building, you can make a car. So why don't you spend a little bit of time and show me what you can design for this one particular shape.
I like to chill.
What was that?
I like to chill.
How we doing? We all done?
So this is from a show. It's called Ed, Ed and Eddie. This is Plank. It's from
Plank is an awesome character. Good job. I do like Plank. Now, if you take a look, speaking of Ed, Ed, and Eddie, Nathaniel, when you watch the cartoon, and last week we spoke about line, the lines that they use to animate Ed, and Eddie are very energized. They're squiggly, they move. They're not like a solid line from like maybe Teen Titans. Good job. Yeah, the lines are, they move a lot. There's lots of energy in them. How's everyone else doing?
Would like to share.
Please. What do you got, Kat?
I have this thing that I drew.
That's good. And it's based on a tall, thin rectangle.
Yeah.
Is it based on one of your regular characters?
No, just something random I drew.
Good job. I like it. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And I like how your lines are loose. You keep them loose. You don't have to tighten them up. It doesn't. A lot of times when you see a comic book, a cartoon, an animated feature film, or anything, a lot of times you're seeing a finished product. And that is after it's been drawn several times before. It's not, they didn't come out with that the first time they drew it. Tater, did you have something you wanted to share?
I did a businessman and a weird lawn creature.
Good job. And once again, based on long, thin rectangles.
Yeah.
I like it. I like
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, so I think we're done with that, unless someone else wants to share anything. So that last shape was a tall, thin rectangle. Who wants to suggest the next shape we can work with? Anybody else? Or are you going to leave it up to me? Pentagon. We can do a pentagon. Does everyone know what a pentagon is? It is a 5-sided figure, and they're all equal distance. Now, you can make a pentagon, or you can do something else if you want. And your 5 sides for your own pentagon, they don't all have to be equal, but they can. You know, if they're not equal, then it's just called a polygon. Polygon with 5 sides versus a pentagon where they're all equal on 5 sides. So basically, you could do a 5-sided shape and see what you come up with. So your shape could be a house is a 5-sided shape. It's a 5-sided polygon. It's not exactly all the same shape, the same size. Could be a diamond, like a baseball diamond. You can have one side long. So you can have a multi-shape. And if you want to go more sides, less sides, I'm going to leave that up to you. So
Can I show mine?
Please do. Nice. I like it a lot. That's very creative. I do like that a lot. Good job.
Also based off of Ed and Eddie, the face mostly.
Yeah. Thanks, Nathaniel. Good job. Anybody else want to share? Are you guys still working on them?
Soleil would like to share.
What do you got, Soleil?
So when you first mentioned the Pentagon, I was like, why not make a clown? And apparently that clown did not work out, but I made a person. That's a that's a Pentagon.
No, that's great. And that's part of it too. That's very cool.
Thank you.
It reminds me of one of the bad guys from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, like those alien?
That big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Here's Tater.
What do you got, Tater?
I named the giant squiggly beast Noodle and drew a little thing.
And that's exactly what I want you guys to do. You can explore. And like Soleil did, like she started out with a clown, but it changed. And those are called happy accidents. It just, the drawing kind of takes a life of its own and it just goes one direction. Very good. Very good. Did I see anyone? I thought I saw someone else wanted to share.
Here's Cat.
Hey, Kat.
There's a character I made. It's like a robot unicorn thingy.
That's very cool. I've never seen a robot unicorn. That's cool.
Started out with little suction cup thingies, and I felt like it needed a horn, so yay.
Yeah, and it helps it helps fill out the balance of it, right? So it's like how your suction cups are the base, and that horn helps form it. And even though you started out with a pentagon, that bigger shape, what shape does that make? That bigger shape made a triangle, which, you know, that works. I started out with an obscure pentagon, turned it into a funky building, and then threw like a helicopter on top of it. Okay, so we may have time for one more. This last one, Nathan, you want to do a circle? Or we could leave it up to have it, to everyone do what they want to do. So let's do that. It's kind of like last time where we had a free-for-all at the end of the workshop. Everybody can pick a shape that they want to do and make it work for them. Okay, we'll do that. Pick a shape. Start out with one of the basic shapes or any shape you want. And then from there, we'll design either a character, a building, a spaceship, whatever you want.
May I show?
What was that?
May I show? I'm a really fast drawer.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Nice. I like it. I like the color too.
You could say some squares, some triangles, a lot of shapes.
No, that works. That works. I like it a lot. Good job. That's exactly what we're talking about today. Shapes. Tater, how you coming along? You ready to share, buddy? You still working on it?
Still working.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see some familiar faces from last week. Nathaniel, I'm glad you joined us today. Hope you come with us next week too. We're going to be doing color next week. So you can use crayons, markers, watercolor, whatever you're most comfortable with. And just a reminder, if you know anyone that wants to join us, these classes are donation based. It's on these donations that we're able to offer these to you guys and help everyone, you know, be able to get the creative side of art and do a little bit learning and hopefully have some fun in the process. All right, we're ready for you to share, Tater.
Because of popular request, I did do a dodecagon and a hectagon, as Scott requested.
Nice. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
That's
Also more
awesome.
noodle. So thank you.
Very cool.
No, thank you. Good job.
Here's Kat.
Hopefully we'll see you next week. What do you got, Kat?
I made, my camera won't turn around, sorry. There we go. It's like a triangle. It's like a peacock bear thing. Sorry, I'm trying to keep on frame.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing good. I like it. I see all the basic shapes you used in there. Keep it up. Keep it up. So when you design your character, whether you want your character to be like a strong looking character, like a gorilla, or if you want them to be a thin character, or if you want them to be a heavy set character, you know, short, stocky character. When you're doing all these things, think about, you know, their personality. Is this guy going to be strong? Is this guy going to be confident? Anybody got, we got to wrap it up pretty soon. Anyone else got anything to share before we start turning it off?
Here's the way.
So, just what Tater did, I wanted to do the decagon. So I did the decagon and I made this weird creature looking thing. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a thing.
No, I like, that's something I would expect to see like on Pokemon. It's got the huge, right? No, the style is very, it's familiar.
Thank
And it
you.
looks like you've got a good handle on it. Do you like Pokemon?
I do. I actually, I've been recently playing Pokemon Sun on 3DS.
Okay. And there's a saying, like, we are influenced by the art we see around us, everything we see around us. Like, for example, you got Groku on your shirt. Very cool shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
We're influenced by that, whether we realize it or not. I could be looking at your shirt, and the next time I draw something, it might be very similar to Groku, but I may not recall that, oh, I got it from Soleil's shirt from the class. Well, keep it up, everybody. Anybody have any questions before we sign off? Liliana. Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
We were gonna share, but Heather's trying to find her stuff.
No, that's okay. We got a couple of minutes.
Yeah, just left her first. Right,
We got a
here are
couple of
my
minutes.
things.
Nice. Wow, look at that. You got a complex figure up there in the on the right side.
There and here.
Wow, good character. Hey, like the Bugs Bunny. Very cool. There's your mouse again.
Here.
That's wow. You guys are really good. You guys are getting really, really good. Keep it up. And a squid. That's a great shape. See, that's another something that reminds me of Soleil's, another Pokemon kind of character I'd expect to see there. Good job, you guys. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So it looks like we're going to be Evie. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just did a really quick drawing real fast.
Okay. Ah, is that based on the rectangle?
No, it's based on Peter Tot's character that he just made a few minutes ago. The doodle.
I like it. I like it a lot. I especially like how you use the shape, and is it a friendly character? What's your idea when you look at your character? Is it friendly?
I'm sorry if it's not accurate to Tater, but yes, it looks like a very friendly character.
Yes. Yes. If it had spikes and pointy edges, a lot of times that's characteristic of an antagonistic character, not so friendly. But if it's round and fluffy, it's usually likable, and it's a nice character. Well, thank you everybody for coming out. Again, if you guys can help with making any donations, it's appreciated. There's a link that Scott will provide. I'm glad. I hope you guys learned something. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me or Scott, and we'll get back to you. But good job. It was nice to see you guys come back this week. And next week, we are going to be doing color. So bring something that you want to either draw, paint, or ink with. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Keep drawing. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
Bye,
day.
everyone.
Bye.